Guess what happened to me today? I was just messing around with the VR system and got this cool idea of creating an ecological sci-fi game. It's all about introducing real-world sustainability concepts into an alien environment. Does that sound thrilling or what? It felt like being in an otherworldly blender of technology and nature, I swear. Had a brainstorming session with Luke today. He is a pro at VR stuff, and since we've been working together, I've got to say my VR skills are really leveling up. So, I was hoping to get some environmental input from Kendall, remember him? The environmental scientist? But dude, you won't believe it, he gave me a 1. Talk about raining on my parade. Moving on from that little setback, imagine this. You are in an alien world, experiencing its climate, its flora and fauna, but all of these are designed based on our Earth's ecological concepts. Our river in the alien world, for instance, may run with multicolored fluids, reflecting how chemical pollutants color our waters here on Earth. Or the alien creatures may develop peculiar behaviors to adapt to their changing habitats, just as our animals do. Got to be one of the grooviest virtual landscapes I've ever had the joy of working on. Boy, I love my job. Then, Eric messaged saying he dreamt about our VR quest last night. Dude, our creations are invading dreams now. Remember that alien multiplication problem we were having? Turns out that's what he was struggling with in his dream. I really need to tone down the bad guys, don't I? And then there's Nina, dreaming in code and commanding Python ninjas. I tell you, nothing gets better than this. We're tripping, technically speaking. By the way, I tried this amazing Caribbean jerk tofu today. Whoever says vegan food is boring definitely hasn't explored enough. Honestly, the spice had me going fire in the hole, but the flavors were so exciting, I'd brave the spiciness any day. So have you watched the new sci-fi movie Galactic Odyssey? It was mind-blowing. The cinematography, the plot twists, the epic alien world they created, just wow. If you haven't watched it yet, you should really check it out. Oh, and a hidden fun fact, Eric has been secretly learning the guitar. Our tech geek is turning into a rock star. Can't wait to hear him play. Speaking of streaming horror games, today was a veritable roller coaster ride of terror and excitement. I got my paws on this incredible indie horror game that's seriously out of this world. My audience could hear me scream, and boy did they love it. I mean, how could they not? It was a perfect mix of jump scares and smart narrative design, not to mention the aesthetics were absolutely striking. I can't remember the last time I was this engrossed in a horror game, to be honest. I ran into Eric and Ben today during a multiplayer session, and we ended up chatting about the indie horror game I stumbled upon. Turns out Eric isn't a big fan of horror. Well, at least when it comes to gaming. Ben, on the other hand, was pretty intrigued with my experience. Guess who's joining me on my midnight horror gaming spree next time? And then there was Nina, surprised but eager to join the next stream. Seriously? You should have seen the emoji explosion in our chat today? Oh man, the look on their faces if they had to face these virtual terrors. Hilarious. Halloween's just around the corner, and you know what that means. More late-night horror game streams and the lot. Who needs trick-or-treating when you have thrilling horror games that make you scream on top of your lungs, right? Well, Eric might disagree, but he's got no other option. Turns out the nostalgic holiday memories don't ever quite leave us. Nina reminded me of our old trick-or-treating memories. Man, those fights over candies and dressing up as Pokeballs. It got me thinking, maybe I should do a stream, dressed up in a wacky Halloween costume. Also got to hear the cutest story from Nina today. She found a kitten outside her flat. Can't imagine what she was feeling. I mean, all she does is moo about wanting to adopt a pet, and suddenly a kitten shows up at her door. It's like life gifted her a small fluff ball of joy. Anyway, gotta go now. Still have some reviews to finish up, and believe it or not, I'm also thinking of tackling another horror game tonight. Me and my infallible gaming spirit. Catch you on the flip side. Continuing from where I left, you remember that multicolored alien world VR concept. Well, guess what? Explored a real art wonderland today, the Colombian mural art scene, right through a VR gallery tour. Now forget about cat filters and video games. This, my friend, is the next level of VR wizardry, I tell ya. Just imagine living art pieces that tell riveting tales of a culture so vibrant, so divine. If I could, I'd live there virtually. Yeah, I bumped into Samantha and Liam during the virtual tour too. Spoke to this lovely cultural guide, Sophia, who didn't seem to vibe well with my gaming lingo, gave me a 1. But oh boy, was the experience epic. The grand visuals, the history behind each mural, the colors, perspectives, and most importantly, the narratives. So vivid 1 minute, and then you blink, and it's abstract the next. Felt like I was right there in Colombia, not to mention it being a creative feast for my digital artwork ideas. Then there's Eric and Nina, who were both super impressed. Nina nearly toppled off her chair at the idea, and Eric, the man never ceases to surprise us with his adventurous nature. They're contemplating taking a virtual vacay at the same VR gallery. Eric even joked about taking a day off, can you imagine? Oh, speaking of Eric, he's been showing real interest in gaming. Coding by day, gaming by night. Sounds like a Silicon Valley sitcom theme, doesn't it? Now he's diving headfirst into Code Plucker, but isn't having the best of luck. Poor dude, I've been teasing him to join one of my streams and learn from the master. Nina and I are cheering him on like the good digital arts cheerleaders we are, but you can bet there's a lot of good-natured ribbing in our chat. Mr. High-Tech might seem to have bitten off more than he can chew, but he's sticking with it. Got to admire the persistence. I swear every day is so eventful with all the games, and now this virtual art exploration. It's almost like living in an alternate reality, but way more satisfying. I kinda like this trend of adding a sprinkle of culture to my daily VR routines. Who knows, maybe the pyramids of Egypt are next on the list. And speaking of virtual spaces, remember that gaming hackathon coming up this Sunday? Been thinking about pitching the idea of a cultural VR exploration game. Can already imagine the title, World Trails, a Cultural Odyssey. Cool, isn't it? All right, enough of my chatter for now. I need to dig deeper into Colombian culture, maybe explore some food and music because why not, right? Hey, learning about different cultures could be my new thing. So,